NASCAR Xfinity Series racing from Michigan, the new Holland 250. Cars rolling around this 2-mile track. Let's take a look at the starting grid and how we will come to the green flag. Noah Gragson, that 24-year-old from Las Vegas, Nevada. Second pole this season already brings him to the green flag. AJ Allmendinger will start beside him.
Back in row 4, Kyle Weatherman will give Jesse Luigi Motorsports his best start ever in the 8th position. Ty Gibbs behind him in row 5.
See some guys back on back. I'm going to talk to Riley Herbst here in a little bit. He's having a career year, looking for big things for him. What about Austin Hill? He got a really good at the super speedways. Got a little knack for these places.
Yeah, big weekend for him. First Cup Series start tomorrow. As we look further back in the Mr. Sam Mayer back there in row 13, expecting a little better starting position out of him.
Yeah, I think, you talk about young drivers, this big sweeping racetrack. It's hard to get used to or get laps here, just experience. And you see a whole bunch of cars moving to the back for some adjustments. John Hunter Nemechek back there in row 16 as well, taking a little break from the Truck Series, getting some Xfinity Series laps.
Brad, you mentioned it. Let's dial up the driver, the 98, the 23-year-old from Las Vegas, Nevada, Riley Herbst.
Riley Herbst, this is Big Brad up in the booth, man. You got me?
I got you.
All right, you guys had a little bit of practice this morning. It was nice and cool. Right now, it's getting a little toasty out there. Give us some insight on what's going to happen from that 13th spot.
Man, I think it's going to single file out pretty quickly, and hopefully we'll all be fine for the resin. Hopefully we'll be able to put on a pretty good race for all the Xfinity fans watching at home. But 13th is not where we want to finish in this Monster Energy Ford Mustang. So trying to make our way back to the front.
How easy is it going to be to pass, Riley? We see these cars get spread out so badly. I mean, there's 6-7 lanes of racing at times. What's the strategy on passing? Are you just running your own line, or are you just trying to pick people off as you go?
Definitely be one by one, starting this deep in the field. But I really think we have the car capable to do it. Hopefully the resin gives us some added grip, and we can move around a little bit and make our way to the front.
All right, Riley, man, pull them belts tight. Go get some. We're going to be watching, buddy.
Appreciate it.
And sure enough, on command, look at him pull his belts tight for you. That's pretty cool. Monster Energy, appreciate them coming on board, giving us a good look at the driver here, and we'll ride along with Riley Herbst today. We'll also hear a few more stories before the green flag comes out. Let's start with Parker.
Right, Rick, and for Josh Berry, last year in this race, he probably had it won on the long run. But when it came to those short runs on the late race restarts, that's when the race got away from him. He told me, I now know what I need in this race car for those short runs. So if we're put in that position again and we have just as good a car in the long run, I will not let this race get away from us. He's been really focused on making that car just faster on those short runs, Kim.
Well, Parker, it was a rough start for Daniel Hemrick and this number 11 team. Before practice, they identified a track bar issue. Well, crew chief Alex Janssen, this team went to work. They fixed the problem, got Daniel out on track for the end of that practice, qualified the Chevrolet in the 4th position. And when I talked to Daniel before he hopped aboard the car, he said, this is the best car we've unloaded all year long. And now, Marty, all they need to do is execute and capitalize on what they brought to the racetrack here this weekend.
Kim, 3rd week in a row that Ty Gibbs is in the Cup car for 2311 Racing and also in the Xfinity car for Joe Gibbs Racing. Chris Gale, his crew chief, told me, hey, this is the first time, though, that he's had to do both on the same day. So my message to him this morning, compartmentalize everything. In fact, when Ty showed up to the car, he said, listen, qualifying for the Cup Series is over. Terrific job there. Now I want you to worry about this car and this car only. The Toyota onboard will take us around today with Ty Gibbs. We'll see if he can get up to the front and maybe get another win here at Michigan.
Thanks, Marty. And Steve, we've talked a lot about this 2-mile racetrack and how fast it is. Let's break down the race.
Oh, it's one of my favorite big, wide, sweeping corners. 125 laps, 250 miles. Stage 1 and 2, both 30 laps in length. A longer final stage, 65 laps, and that final stage is outside the fuel window, which is somewhere between 46 and 50 laps. I think it's pretty straightforward. You're going to probably pit at the end of stage 1, the end of stage 2. The question mark is, what do you do in that final stage? If the cautions come, which caution do you think you need to pit? How important are tires? That could determine the race. This Xfinity Series, Brad, has changed. We last year, we used to see 10, 12 drivers we think would clog up those front rows. But this year, you make a mistake, you get back there outside the top 20. It is tough grinding to get your way back to the front.
Really, really difficult. And you mentioning the tire situation, we saw this tire this morning go from a little bit slow to a lot quicker 7, 8, 10 laps into a run. How does that play into the fuel mileage strategy as you get towards the end of the day?
That's really the key right now. If you're coming in and you get your fuel mileage strategy wrong, don't look for fresh tires to be the saving grace like you're going to drive back through the field. I just believe these Goodyear tires are very durable and clean air is king. So I think a good car is fine, but if a good car in the back is not going to drive with a good car out front, it's going to be a challenge for these mostly young drivers in the field.
Steve, Riley Herbst, when we were riding along with him, was already shutting the car off. We know that fuel, he can make it 30 laps, so why are you conserving fuel before the race even starts?
Well, Rick, what I've learned is that everybody says, well, it might be a fuel mileage race. Every race is a fuel mileage race. Because even if you can make it to 30 laps, you want to be able to put less fuel in during the pit stop, give your crew the best chance to have a great stop on pit road. There's some advantages to cooling the engine, shutting it off. It's not an option anymore. Everyone all the time is conserving fuel.
So we were talking about Noah Gragson being the favorite for this race. What about his teammate Justin Allgaier? Let's listen into the pep talk on the radio.
You guys have a great day out there. Stay hydrated, it's hot. I appreciate all the hard work here. Pit crew, as always, thanks for being here, boys. Let's go have some fun today. And man, I really want to go to that front straightaway checker flag out there. So let's try to make it happen.
I really believe, we talk about Noah being the favorite, but I can definitely envision Allmendinger in victory lane, Allgaier, Josh Berry. I mean, there's so many drivers that can do it. That 7 wouldn't surprise me. Definitely the veteran in these front few rows, at least to the Xfinity Series. Allmendinger, he's kind of driven everything.
You mentioned the veteran, 36 years old, and he was the one who just gave the pep talk to the team. So the driver is giving the pep talk to the team. Noah Gragson, A.J. Allmendinger making up row 1 as we're about to get underway racing in Michigan.
Pushing and shoving already, 3 wide, a little bit farther back in the field. This is going to be our first test of that darker asphalt. Someone's going to get shoved up there. Will it have the grip?
3 wide already. We see Justin Allgaier in the 7 work to the bottom, trying to take that second spot away as Noah Gragson trying to pull away.
Boy, those cars are dancing around in that little bit of air they've already created, Steve. Look at Noah get a great run and pull out.
Brandon Jones with a big run in the 19. That yellow number 19 slides up into 3rd, but can he hold on to that now? Gregson's going to lead lap number 1. Allmendinger right behind him. Brandon Jones is 3rd, and then the fight for 4th. Daniel Hemrick, that green and white, number 11, on the outside. Champion from a year ago and has been very hard on himself, especially this last week. Said, I have not been performing up to what Colleague Racing expects of me. And he says, it's totally on me. We're going to start right here and rebuild and get better.
Well, you like that. When the guy's sitting in the seat's going to take the hit and put all the pressure on himself. It lets everyone else kind of do their thing, get out from under the spotlight. And I think it's good. I think it'll also help Daniel focus and get to victory lane. We keep expecting him to win races, and it just hasn't happened. He's talented, got a great race team, so maybe this is the wake-up call he needs for himself to push himself into a position to win a few more races.
Side by side right there, the 18, that yellow hood, red and white car of Sammy Smith, the 8 of Josh Berry to the inside. Sammy Smith only making his 3rd Xfinity Series start. The 18-year-old, the first start was at a road course, the next time was at Pocono. I think this is going to be his biggest challenge. The length of these corners, the speed of this racetrack. He can drive a race car, but the aerodynamic positions that his car will be put in today, both compromised when he's at a deficit, like right here, getting shoved into the corner by the 54, or does it an advantage? How does he use the air around him? Right there, like a veteran.
And I'm noticing right behind Ty Gibbs. And whoa, a little contact there. Josh Berry. And the 34 is that Kyle Weatherman. I was just going to mention Kyle Weatherman running up here inside the top 10. And now under pressure as Josh Berry on his outside. He's trying to catch it.
Oh, wow. Has he got a tire going down?
That was impressive. How about Josh Berry seeing the 34s in trouble and getting away from him? Yeah. If he doesn't move up, that's day over for the 8 car.
Well, a good catch there for Kyle Weatherman. Man. Jesse Awuji Motorsports. Jesse actually doing naval drills this weekend in California. I talked to Jesse and I said, Jesse, okay, Kyle Weatherman behind the wheel, qualified in the top 10. He said, man, we have a great team. Only 6 full-time employees at the shop. I mean, we're talking about a small team battling against these bigger teams.
Another small team, that 68 of Brandon Brown to the inside of the 8. Kim, what you got on that 34 car?
Yeah, well, I talked to Kyle before the race, and he talked about that great qualifying effort they had, qualifying in the 8th position, and he called it, quote, a moment of win, and said small things like that make people see him for the driver he is. And he said he's finally getting the acknowledgement he feels like he deserves, and that the hard work he and this team have been doing is paying off.
He was working awful hard just to keep that thing pointed in the right direction. Gregson out to a 4/10 of a second lead, and we mentioned cars moving around. How about that? Up into the wall.
So that was Josh Berry. Just got in there too hot.
I'll say, so I hadn't seen that one
I didn't
before.
either.
That's the issue with the 8 car. This is big damage on a right rear quarter panel. The most sensitive area on the right side of this race car. That right rear quarter panel being damaged is going to be a huge issue for this 8 car until they can get to pit road.
He got into the 34 just a little bit in that right front fender. Then you see Kyle Weatherman go down the corner, and he's just chasing that bad boy all the way up the racetrack. Good catch, good save. You know, I was talking to Noah Gregson before the race about getting up into the black, getting up near the wall, getting up into the traction compound. He's like, look, man, this place is so fast, but you really want to be on the bottom of the racetrack if you can, to make time and to make speed. I'm like, well, wouldn't it be faster to run up top and wind it up and go? He's like, no, man, shortest way around is most proficient.
And that's where Sammy Smith is right now, right on the bottom of the racetrack with Hemrick on the outside. Hemrick dropping back to the 6th spot now as Sammy Smith takes that 5th spot away. Yellow stripe on the back bumper of the 18 because he's only 18 years old, a rookie. See Allmendinger and Brandon Jones right now 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, right behind Jones is that 7 of Allgaier. Lost a little bit of time in the initial start, kind of got in the wrong lane. Didn't get in the wrong lane, he just started in the wrong lane. The inside lane didn't have a lot of help, lost positions. But he's showing that veteran experience. When we talked to all the JRM guys, long runs were what they felt the best about their cars. Said the longer they run, they feel like their cars just continue to drive really well. They can put them where they want on the racetrack, as we see that 7 running about half a lane lower than the 19, getting that fresh air of that left front fender.
Just in front of him is Brandon Jones. Parker.
Right, and what a huge first lap for Brandon Jones there. He went from 7th to 3rd on lap 1. I was talking to him on the grid just before the race, and he had so much confidence in this race car as he looks below A.J. Allmendinger there off turn 4. Looks like he might be able to put it side by side and try to get away from that side draft, but he had so much confidence. He told me, he said, look, it's going to be a race between us, the 9, the 16, and the 7. And guess what? Those 4 are the top 4 right now as we watch them race side by side at turn 1, Tim.
Looking at Sammy Smith there in the 5th position. Steve mentioned this being the most challenging racetrack he's been to. Well, Sammy confirmed that to me. He said he had the least amount of confidence coming here just because he had no experience at all, but practice helped a little bit. He said practice was absolutely so much fun. He's never hit speeds like he's seen here before. Sammy Smith doing a great job, that rookie in the 5th position currently.
Yeah, I mean, during qualifying, we saw 200 miles an hour. I mean, going into turn 1, they were hitting 200 miles an hour in qualifying. Now with the draft, these guys still turning extremely quick laps. 11 laps into this race, 11 laps of the 30 for stage 1. And it's Noah Gregson, has a 1.3 second lead. He's the favorite entering. Can he hang on and win stage 1? We'll be right back. NASCAR Drive is your live race day companion. You have pit stop data, high-definition in-car cameras, as well as current position trackers. Visit NASCAR.com/drive, or you can download the NASCAR mobile app today. Marty.
On board with Ty Gibbs in the 6th position. Hey, Steve, you remember Indianapolis back in the day when you ran the oval as a crew chief? You brought your best stuff, didn't you? You brought everything you could to the racetrack. Well, Chris Gale told me this morning, he said he feels like this is that kind of race for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. As he said, quote, all the cards are on the table. You're going to know what everyone has, aero-wise, horsepower-wise, everything. You're bringing it all here to Michigan, and it's kind of a preview of what you could see in the playoffs. Where do you stack up? Chris Gale thinks he'll know by the end of the day where he and Ty Gibbs stack up when it comes playoff time.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just an area that better equipment runs faster. A lot goes into other tracks, and there's a lot of ways that a good car can be kind of covered up with either bad strategy, bad pit stops, be in traffic all day.
Yeah.
But look at out the front windshield of Ty Gibbs running 6, right? He definitely doesn't have the cleanest air, but he has half of a corner in front of him. If this car has speed, it's going to show up, and it currently does, right? That was the 2nd fastest lap on the racetrack. So as we ride around, this is coming off turn 2 down the back straightaway, Brad. It looks straightforward, but multiple lanes and even a little bit different banking angles from the bottom to the top.
Yeah, so you figure out right away, just like you're talking about, you figure out the speed, the raw speed of the race car. How well is the car handling by itself? I mean, that's we get in a dirty air, we talk about that all the time. It's difficult for the cars to handle. But you know how comfortable the car is because you've got 4, 5, 6 lanes of racetrack to go out and figure things out. So it exposes all of the weaknesses of a race team when you come here to Michigan.
Steve, we're starting to see the middle lane where they've been running a lot get a little bit darker. So some rubber going down right in here.
So really, you see the yellow lane is a groove lower. That bottom lane out of the gas, big slide right there for the 54. That bottom lane's a little flatter. You try not to use it in 1 and 2. You can if you need to, but it's not as preferred. Down here in 3 and 4, kind of the same idea. Left side's on that paving seam. You see where it is darker because of the rubber, and then to your right was darker because it got sprayed. I'm just waiting to see old tires. I think that's the only reason you're going to want to move up off the bottom, as you get mentioned. Short way around is usually the best way around. Parker?
And Steve, some of the teams are asking their drivers when they're spread out a little bit like this, when you're seeing Ty Gibbs have a lot of room up ahead of him, to sort of experiment with getting up in that reds a little bit. Right now, I would call that about the middle groove that he's running there on both ends in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But some of the teams asking their drivers just to creep up and start to widen that entry out a little bit, use a little bit more racetrack through the center, and just to feel it out here when you have that chance to do it and not pay a big penalty of getting past. When you see cars spread out like this, we'll see if drivers start to move up, as you mentioned, as the tires fall off and find a little speed up in that red zone.
170 miles an hour, Brad. Just go feel it out.
Yeah, we're going to test it out.
Yeah, run it up there a lane higher, see what kind of grip there is.
We're seeing Allmendinger fall back to 3rd, and now Allgaier has closed the gap on teammate Noah Gragson. So Allgaier, you mentioned earlier, the longer runs for the junior motorsports cars might be paying off for them. Well, it's definitely paying off for Allgaier.
Yeah, Allgaier definitely has a better car and can move around a little bit. You're going to see down here in 3 and 4, kind of in the tire tracks, maybe a few feet higher, but right here's the key. See, he can turn lower than the 9, exit a little bit lower. I think that's a big advantage.
I think that's a huge advantage. And the thing about Justin Allgaier that I've always noticed for years of watching him race is when that car does get a little bit looser, he is very capable of going forward with a loose race car. So it plays into his hands. His car is handling great right now. If it does go away just a little bit, I like it because he's the guy. He's the one guy in this field that can drive the wheels off of a loose race car.
All right, that was the test I was looking for. The 7 moved up, got a great run down the backstretch. On the bottom of the screen, the 18 of Sammy Smith passing his teammate, the 19 of Brendan Jones, for the 4th position. Now the 9's a half a groove up. I think that unlocked it. I'm looking for Allgaier to move up again here in 1 and 2. I think we're getting ready to see if that sticky substance has the grip, because that last corner, it looked like it had grip on exit.
Where does he pass him? Or how does he set up the pass now?
I think right here, if he doesn't have the speed to go low, he's going to cross him over, get to the top right here in the middle of the corner, climb the banking. I thought he would go a little higher. He was higher last time and got a good run off. This time he just kind of followed in his wake. The 9 actually ran a pretty good defensive line, and then now it's back to work. 6 or 8 car lengths back.
So the battle is on for the top 2 spots. Gragson has had it since the drop of the green flag. As you've been able to see, Allgaier has gotten close but has not been able to get to the back bumper of the 9 of Noah Gragson for the lead. Sammy Smith on the bottom in the 18 going by Allgaier, or excuse me, Allmendinger, as Allmendinger now has fallen back to 4th after starting up in 2nd.
What I love best about that Sammy Smith car was that as he catches traffic, he can get by them quickly, kind of dispose of them, not get stuck in that wake.
And this has been, is this defensive driving that we're seeing out of Noah Gragson, taking the line away from Allgaier?
Yeah, I mean, Noah basically, if we listen to his spotter, he's just telling him where their 7's running. He enters kind of a lane higher than he probably normally would, overslows it a little bit, crosses down in front of the 7 right here. So he just crosses to the bottom, shuts the air off to the 7. The 7 has no choice but to run a higher exit and try to get the momentum. He's tried a couple times in one, Brad. The 7 does. He overdrives the entrance, gets to the top, and gets it turned.
Yeah, the thing I've noticed too, we don't talk about it enough, is the actual draft that's utilized here. So we see Allgaier be able to run up towards Noah and get close to him, but the air is disturbed so much. Maybe the air is a little bit dirtier once he gets to him. He can't really pull out and go by him, use the power or use that draft that helps suck him up to get by Noah.
Marty, has Noah been talking on the radio this whole time in this first stage?
Not a word yet, Rick, which is surprising because he knows his teammate Justin Allgaier is a little bit quicker than him, but he has done a terrific job of using the lap traffic, sort of his picks to kind of help him, and he's worked his way through a little bit better. But there's a lot to fight for Noah in these final 2 laps here in stage 1. Currently, he is tied with Ty Gibbs with 23 playoff points, so this would put him in the lead with playoff points. So he's out there for that playoff point and knows that's what's on the line.
Noah Gragson also running the Cup race tomorrow. He qualified 12th for that race. And how good is Noah Gragson here? Well, 2 truck starts, 7th and 4th for the finishes. 2 Xfinity Series starts, 2nd and 3rd for his finishes. So still looking for that win here in the Xfinity Series at Michigan with 1 lap to go in stage 1, but he has been the dominant car, led 29 laps so far.
It's just all about how he catches this traffic. They're kind of in the line he's in. He's going to try to be a little bit higher. Ty Gibbs in the bottom of the screen will move into the 5th position.
It shook out pretty much the way we thought it would. I mean, I thought Allmendinger would be a little bit stouter as well as Ty Gibbs, but they're both in the top 5, so they're within striking distance. A little bit of an adjustment here after this stage and see what happens.
Final time through 3 and 4. Gregson's going to have to get out of the gas a little bit. Can't use the whole racetrack, but he'll still win stage 1. 9th stage win already of 2022, the most of all drivers. Allgaier closes in. He was 0.2 of a second behind there as they cross the stripe. Brandon Jones in 6th. Daniel Hemrick. Austin Hill with a great move. Austin Hill able to gain 8 positions after the start of the race. But it's Noah Gragson who wins stage 1. The favorite, showing everyone pretty smart here in Michigan.
Stage 1 win goes to Noah Gragson and make that 24 stage wins on the season for Junior Motorsports. That's the most that team has ever had in one season, and I have a feeling that is not the end of it for this 2022 year. When we look at the finishing order of that stage, 2 drivers that I had my eye on. Landon Castle, he's the first driver above the cut line in the playoff standings. He finished 9th there in stage 1. And then 1 driver who finished just outside of the top 10-ish is that 12th place finisher, Sheldon Creed. He's the first driver below the cut line in the playoff standings. We do still have 6 regular season races left to go before we start the playoffs, but something to keep an eye on as different agendas and different driver strategies come into play here as the regular season winds down.
Download the official app of NASCAR and follow the action with free live scoring. There's radio broadcast as well as in-car cameras. You can upgrade to premium for full access to driver audio channels and an ad-free experience. Search NASCAR. It's in your app store. You can download and start a free trial. You're watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series from Michigan. The New Holland 250 Stage 1 is complete. Marty.
Hey, Rick, we saw A.J. Allmendinger in the Cup Series race get out of the race and just absolutely fall out of the car because his cool suit wasn't working. Could it happen 2 weeks in a row? Listen.
Tired of the cool shirt's not working. Give me a bag of ice. Can we check the shirts at the shop? Yeah, man, we'll keep working on that for you. We'll get her fixed. Look at it.
So I talked to A.J. Allmendinger about it this morning. This is indeed a different cool shirt. It was a wiring issue last week, but he said they put procedures in place so it wouldn't happen again. But A.J. clearly frustrated. It's not working, and it is warm here today in Michigan.
You know, we can call it an inconvenience, but the simple fact is that hurts the performance of this car. If all the drivers around you are comfortable and cool and you're not, it's great to say you're tough. It's great to say you should be trained for this, but Brad, that slows this 16 down if AJ isn't comfortable and at his best.
100%. As we talked about at the beginning of the show, too, AJ doesn't need any distractions. And when he doesn't have distraction, he's really good. This is a distraction. Kim, what do you have?
Well, Justin Allgaier in that number 7 Chevrolet finished P2 in that stage. He said the car is really good. He said, I didn't do a good job as a driver on the top lane. That's on me, guys. 4 tires, Sunoco fuel for Justin Allgaier, Marty.
Stage win number 24 of the year for Junior Motorsports. So impressive. Noah Gragson saying in the middle of your screen, car just got way too tight as they ran, but he was able to hold off his teammate Justin Allgaier. Meanwhile, A.J. Allmendinger, handling-wise, said really free, absolutely nothing to lean on in the car. He said, you guys have got to give me something to help me out. Right behind him, Gragson will pull out and he'll hold the lead here on pit road, but the 16 does gain a couple of spots, Rick.
Yeah, it looks as though Allmendinger grabbed 2 spots. Sammy Smith was able to hold on to 3rd. Allgaier lost a couple on pit road.
We're getting ready to start stage 2, but before we do, keep an eye there on that number 18 car of Sammy Smith. You may have heard the broadcasters mentioning earlier the young driver, just his 3rd Xfinity Series start. He's restarting 3rd here as we start stage 2. He's a regular in the ARCA Menard Series East and just getting his feet wet here in the Xfinity Series, but clearly making quite the statement early on today at Michigan.
NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Propane, environmentally friendly energy for everyone. And by Ford, built Ford proud. Kim Kuhn mentioned earlier today during practice and qualifying, the temperature was about 74 degrees and said that it was going to climb to near 90, already 87 degrees, feeling like 93. And you think about it, a week ago, A.J. Allmendinger had an issue with his cool shirt at Indianapolis, and then no water. So frustrating. Not only frustrating, but exhausting. When he got out of the car, it looked just like that. Almost fell out of that number 16. This was during the Cup race. Had to pull that, what was supposed to be the cool shirt, off. Tara was there to help with the ice bags, but now once again an issue with this cool shirt, and they've handed him 2 ice bags and ice water.
I think some of last week was warm, but he also did double duty, right? So he ran on Saturday and Sunday, and I think that kind of just caught up with you, right? You can only get rehydrated so well, and then he ran out of the water. He gutted through it, though. Tough, man, tough guy. Marty.
Hey, Steve, as you can imagine, Chris Rice, the president of College Racing, not very happy. He's kind of going to his guys, what is it? Why is it happening? Steve, it was a wiring issue last week. They don't know what's causing it today. That's part of the frustration. He's told me we won't know until after the race, but all we know is that this is not good for our ace driver. This is very frustrating for us to not only have it 2 weeks in a row, but in 2 different series as well.
So a cool shirt. You saw AJ take it off. He wears it under his fire suit. It has basically tubing built in. There's a pump that pumps fluid through, it recirculates through the shirt and then into a system in the car that cools the fluid back down, and so on and so forth. So there's an electrical component, and then there's a cooling component, and there's also the fluid flow component. I have seen those tubes are very small. I've seen those get clogged with debris. I've seen the fluid move around but not be cooled, and I've seen the wiring break. So really 3 different areas of the system can go wrong. I would feel confident to say, I'm sure it's not the same thing as last week, but the result's the same for AJ, so he can care less why it's broke.
So the restart will be Noah Gragson on the outside, Allmendinger on the inside. Allmendinger has won at Indy last week. He won here last year. Hasn't won on an oval in 2022, though, of his 3 wins. So we'll see how he does here in stage 2. Back under green. And we saw Chris Rice shaking his head. A big shove from Allgaier, and that will push the 16 out front. And here comes Allgaier now for the lead.
Well, he really gave AJ a big push, separated him from the field, and Justin tried to take advantage of it, but AJ holds on.
And you see the organization up top, that draft down the straightaway, especially on new tires, just drives by the 7. The rest of the field 2 and 3 wide.
Comes the 9.
Out.
Comes the 9.
How aggressive is the 9? Woo! Chasing that car up the racetrack as they exited 4. Can he get the lead back? Not that time.
3 wide. We're going to have Junior Motorsports top and bottom. Holland in the middle.
Allgaier. Wow. So much momentum on the high side. He steals the lead back.
I love it. Lost a couple spots on pit road. Gets him back for his pit crew on the restart. They didn't want to see this. I think that 9 was the best car of the first run. Maybe the 18. We didn't see him. He started a little bit further back. Now that 7 has that clean air.
Noah Gragson drops all the way back to that 5th position behind AJ Allmendinger. Ty Gibbs is up in 3rd. Sammy Smith in 2nd.
You see now what Ty, like, what do you do, right, Brad? You going low, high. You don't want to follow in the tire tracks. So he peaks a little high. There you go, and then he commits high. He's going to run right underneath, but then, oh, you see that right there. Yep. Big catch, big save.
So what's the big difference here? I mean, this is a 2-mile racetrack. It's huge. Why don't we, and I talked about it earlier, the draft. Why is it not as prevalent here with these race cars as we've seen in, you know, go to Daytona or Talladega?
Well, the big difference is Daytona and Talladega, they have so much less power that their overall speed potential is much less, right? So they can run wide open the whole time. It's really about putting your car in position for the draft. When you come here in Michigan, it's the biggest racetrack we go to where the power's turned back up. Yeah. So that means at the end of the straightaway right here, 197, 98, 99. You don't want to go 199 in the middle of this corner, so you got to get off the gas, on the brake, down to 170. So then you got the 30-mile-an-hour slow down and fighting the wheel on that 54. His hands are busy. So we see the 7 is in the lead, and it was a 3-wide move getting into turn 1, but you really need to go back almost a half a lap to see where the 7 gets the run, right? So here he is, trapped on the bottom, going down the back straightaway. So how does he go from this position to the lead? And this is what it looks like, right? He gets into the bottom, and here's the move. He kind of slides up just in front of the 18. That matters, because look at the shove he's getting ready to get from this 18 down the straightaway. He was backing up to the front bumper. Now it's that Daytona moment you were talking about. He backed up to the 18. The 18 gave the shove. There you go, rocket fuel down into turn 1, clears 2 guys. If he doesn't clear the 18 off turn 4, a foot, Brad.
Yeah.
He comes off turn 2 in 5th or 6th.
Yeah,
I mean, that is a huge difference for Allgaier.
Caution comes out as coming out of turn 2, 2 cars, one all the way around and up against the wall, and then is that Matt Mills again in the 78?
Oh, tough.
Not a good day for the 78 team with Matt Mills behind the wheel.
No, an engine expired early in practice, 3/4 of a lap in, and now a wrecked race car.
That thing looked like it's been hit pretty hard.
Yeah,
too.
a lot of
He's okay. Yeah.
damage to the back as we see the AMR safety team has got to the window there.
Fly tires at all?
Mills.
I don't think so.
There was another car involved in this. We're seeing the 78, but there were 2, and oh, it's McLaughlin.
Yeah, a lot of damage on the right side. Man, I hate this as a driver. You'll go down the dirty side of the racetrack. Let's see. Oh, right here. Oh, man.
Yeah, McLaughlin slams the wall, and then avoiding Matt Mills gets up into the wall as well.
There you see Matt. Just looks like he gets on the brakes. Back of the car comes around.
Just the second caution from Michigan, and it is McLaughlin slamming the wall coming out of 2.
The caution is out at Michigan, and as we wait here for the race to get green again, why not take a look at where we stand here in the regular season point standings. I mentioned earlier we have only 6 races left in the Xfinity Series regular season, and there are only 30 points separating the top 3 drivers. AJ Allmendinger is on top of the point standings. Ty Gibbs 17 points behind him, and Justin Allgaier 30 points back from the leader. Now, why is this important? The regular season champion earns 15 extra bonus points heading into the playoffs. There you see the standings as they are heading into today's race. Now, we're seeing a stellar run early on here from Justin Allgaier and AJ Allmendinger, although we're hearing Allmendinger complain of some issues within the race car with his cooling suit. Could be a major factor in his performance here today at Michigan, but all 3 of those drivers there hoping for a strong finish here, not only to today's race, but to the regular season, as not only a championship, a title, but 15 bonus points are on the line.
Great weekend here at Michigan International Speedway. Tomorrow it's countdown to green at 2:30, all on USA. 3 o'clock Cup Series racing from Michigan, and of course the NASCAR America post-race show at 6 o'clock. So pre and post-race shows on USA, and great racing here at Michigan. Looking forward to that on NBC. The NTT IndyCar Series racing from Nashville. And they were under a lightning delay over there in qualifying.
Oh, wow.
Nashville just a little bit earlier.
Pretty good Saturday crowd here for Michigan. I'm going to tell you, the infield is packed.
Yeah, I haven't seen
The
this many
campers.
people. I haven't seen this many
Wonderful.
people in years. This is fantastic.
Yeah, the atmosphere here is just
Love it.
amazing.
They sold out infield camping, and it's you know, for years there we had it kind of just around near the track. It is, look, bumper to bumper.
This is fantastic. This is so exciting. It's going to be a big day tomorrow. Got some big racing left today, but Just good to see.
Brad, they show us a grill with something on it. We're going to find out where we're
I'll
going.
come hang out.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, man.
We'll
Yes,
go ride
sir.
around.
Yes,
Sea
sir.
of campers, tents, buses, all right there in the infield. Fans enjoying a great weekend. Marty.
First sellout in the infield, Rick, by the way, in decades. So, Steve, I know where the party is tonight. We're all going, right? So, hey, for A.J. Allmendinger, only 5 green flag laps on that run, but about 2 laps in, he knew he was not happy with the handling in the car. Listen.
Oh, man, our car's so sensitive. That started off massive tight now. Bruce, we're in trouble here on this run. It is plowing tight already. 10-4, man. This will be a short run. We'll get some of that back out. Switch so sensitive.
Man, Steve, when your driver's saying that 2 laps into a run, you know you got your hands full for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and those are the comments I'm going to be like, man, I appreciate the information, but just stick with me here. We've only run a couple laps. I'm not disagreeing with you. I know it doesn't drive good, but we get a little fortunate on a restart. Remember, College's been trying to find more speed. We say find speed like it's this, magical creature you're running through the woods trying to grab a hold of. Basically, it means, look, you're finding a way to use the tires more efficiently. You're finding a way to make more downforce efficiently. You're finding a way that the car doesn't make such a swing from new tires to old tires. And all of those things you can test out, and they showed up better in practice, Brad.
Yeah,
So
they
said
did.
their
They
overall
did.
speed's there, right?
Yeah.
But now this is the real test. Does
Real
it
test.
last for a whole race?
That's right. And the thing about AJ and Chris Rice and those guys know is don't overreact to him. He's very emotional. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He gives you 100%. So things are not going to go his way 100%. He's going to let you know. You just keep letting him race. Keep letting him dig. It'll come to him. Don't overreact. He'll be fine.
On the choose rule, we saw the 7 of Justin Allgaier go to the outside, the 54. Ty Gibbs go to the inside. The 18 of Sammy Smith went to the outside, Kim.
Yeah, and Sammy felt like that was going to be the better lane. And when I talked to crew chief Jason Radcliffe before the race, I asked, what's the focus for Sammy this race? And they said, restarts. We're trying to school him in restarts. After the last one, Sammy admitted he didn't give the 9 a very good push, but it worked out for him. So expect a bigger push from Sammy to Justin Allgaier on this restart. And they did warn him, you've got A.J. Allmendinger behind you. Expect a good push from him. We'll see what Sammy can do on this restart.
We got sim, we got iRacing, we got a lot of tools, but I don't know how you practice restarts other than this right here.
That's right.
Under fire.
Up amongst them.
Again, the field being led by the 7 of Allgaier. Back under green.
Once again, Sammy Smith did not stay on the rear bumper of the 7, and it's going to hurt Allgaier. He just can't let the 54 pass. Oh, the 18 climbs the hill. Oh, 3 wide. That didn't seem to work.
A little side drafting there by Allgaier on that 54.
54 gets bogged down. Can't get back to the throttle, and Allgaier checks out.
Speaking of bogged down, look at Daniel Hemrick in the 11 fall back.
So make a note, the 18 chose not to start on the front row. He started on the outside and yet came off in second. You got to keep filling that playbook. Great move by the youngster.
Allgaier with a great restart. Didn't have a lot of help, but able to hang on to the top spot. And Sammy Smith, Ty Gibbs, Allmendinger, Brandon Jones, and Noah Gregson. Sam Mayer up into the 7th position.
Bottom lane is so inviting to drive down in there. It works for 26 though. John Hunter clears the 11.
Saw Hemrick back in, kicking out a little bit on that. Maybe a little bit of a loose race car for Daniel Hemrick right now. You mentioned the 26 of John Hunter Nemechek running full-time the Truck Series. He said, you know, when I'm not running full-time as far as the truck races, I've got to be in something. If there's not going to be a truck race, I want to race something. So he's jumping into Xfinity Series races, whatever he can get into to keep that craft home.
Yeah, not because he's skipping races in the Truck Series. They just have big gaps in the schedule. They don't run as many weeks. I love this approach. I love a driver saying, how can I be better? My full-time job is in trucks, but I want to stay in race cars. I'm telling you, as we're looking back here in the back a little bit, that 18 of Sammy Smith is putting the heat on Justin Allgaier.
He's all over him.
Oh, yeah.
All over him.
For the lead. He looked to the inside. Allgaier trying to hold him off. Strongest the Toyotas have looked all weekend. As Allgaier and a bunch of Chevrolets have been running very strong, and now it's Sammy Smith who has got the bullseye that's right in front of him for Allgaier, trying to take that top spot away. Do you sit here and learn? I'm sure that Sammy Smith wants to lead this race, but at the same time, he's got a veteran in front of him.
Yeah, that he's trying to pass. He's going to learn trial by fire. His goal is to pass this 7 car. He does not want to stay behind him, you know, on a plan. He may be forced to stay behind him, but that's going to be because of Justin Allgaier's veteran experience, know where to put his car, to drive a little defensively, like right there, a high entry, took the air away from the 18.
Rookie stripe, that yellow stripe on the back of the 18 against a 36-year-old veteran in Justin Allgaier.
Meanwhile, just
look at that run he has.
Oh, good run off that corner. Good opportunity for him to try to get down, take a little bit of that air off that left rear fender if he can, is pull up beside him. But Allgaier's just too crafty, too smart. Keeps staying on top. He stays on his nose and just really makes it hard for him to get by him.
Yeah, all he's saying is you may go by me, but it's going to be because of what you do, not because of what I do wrong.
Not going to make a mistake.
Goes down a little bit lower there. Let's listen into the radio for
Rolling
Allgaier.
up to you. Damn, he gets in the gas early.
Yeah, but he's not going to be able to go anywhere with it.
I know. He's going to hit the beach ball.
Listen to this. That's our guy saying, that's a spotter going, man, he gets in the gas early. That's what we see. He drives right up to it. But Allgaier calmly says, that's fine. I know he is, but where's he going? He's going to drive up to my rear bumper, give me a little shove off the corner, and I'm going to pull away down the straightaway. I mean, it's, you know, it shows the experience level behind the wheel of the 7. Parker.
And Steve, let's talk about what Sammy's experiencing there, right? Because he obviously has a car that's very quick. It's turning through the center really well. He's able to get to the throttle. But as you guys mentioned, he's experiencing, a driver in Justin Allgaier who knows where to put that 7 car to make sure he can go nowhere with that run. But also he's experiencing that, yes, he has that grip, but now it's up to him to maneuver as you see him go lower here in 3 and 4 and find the air, find the way to take that run, take that momentum, that ability to turn and be able to get up beside that 7. It's, as Kim mentioned, he hasn't been on a track this large, and that's one of the things as a driver, you can't practice that. You've got to feel it and sense it and learn here and watch what affects your car better than a 7. I think he's doing a really good job of it.
But this is
If he wants to push pace, I can push pace, but there's no reason to.
Hey, remember when you were a kid?
Yes, it's for.
So this is where, that's great radio by the 7. This is where I think the 18 needs to lean on his teammate. Or excuse me, his team members. Jason Ratcliffe, experience on top of the pit box, 55 career wins for Jason in this series, or his crew chief, Stevie Reeves, on top of the roof. He knows racing. Stevie Reeves has driven in NASCAR. He's run the Indy 500. Oh, it's the 08 around.
08 slides, David Starr, and just going to come right up against but not touch that inside wall. Third caution has come out.
Yeah, you see some damage to the right rear. To finish that thought, I was thinking Stevie could let him know the gap he had behind him. Right, hey, you got no pressure, so move around, try to work something out as the youngster, not be afraid to lose that spot.
I got wrecked right there, bud.
You also heard an interesting comment there, and I don't know if it was Eddie DeHaan or Jason Burdett, one of the two, but they were talking about that beach ball.
Yeah, Eddie DeHaan.
That beach ball, and that's very interesting. That pocket of air that sits right there on that bumper, right behind that deck lid. You get up to it, you just cannot go anywhere. So great learning opportunity for Sammy Smith.
Great racing up front. It was David Starr, the veteran driver, that's got a little sideways.
Gets a little help.
Had a little help.
Seven laps to go here in stage 2 from Michigan International Speedway. The 21 of Austin Hill, the rookie for RCR, he's currently sitting 14th. He has 2 wins already this season. This is a big weekend for Austin Hill, as tomorrow he makes his Cup Series debut. He'll be driving the number 33 for Richard Childress Racing. So Austin getting some track time today in his full-time ride in the Xfinity Series and hopes to prepare himself for tomorrow's Cup Series debut. Again, that's the 21 sitting 14th as we approach the end of stage 2.
Coming up on just 5 laps remaining in stage 2, and all of the crews are up on the wall getting ready for their team to come down pit road, and quite a few are coming, Kim.
And Justin Allgaier in that top box asked his crew chief Jason Burnett, did you make an air pressure adjustment last time? He said yes. He goes, you guys have to go back on that adjustment. It unhooked the right rear a little bit. 4 tires Sunoco fuel for him, as you see Sammy Smith there in the middle. He said it's just a little tight in 3 and 4, but overall pretty good tires and fuel for Sammy. Marty.
Interesting move here. Ty Gibbs comes to pit road. Chris Gale saying, hey, if the 7 pits, we're coming as well. He said, I need to fire off better. Car was way too free. But Steve, look at all the cars that stayed on the racetrack. A surprising move by some, but Noah Gragson said on the radio, let's go for the playoff point.
Well, regardless of what strategy you call, if you're going to have an 18-second pit stop, it's not going to be good. And that's what the 7 had. And you see he lost 3 spots coming to pit road. I love this call to pit. I think this is absolutely the best call to try to win the race.
And if Noah Gragson thinks he's going to get the playoff point, he's going to have to battle A.J. Allmendinger for that, because Allmendinger stayed out and Noah Gragson stayed out. Those 2 are going to make up the front row, depending upon which lane they choose. As we see the 16, he's not going to pass the pace car. Is he going to pass the pace car?
No, I don't believe so. I think he's just coasting, shutting it off, saving a little gas. I mean, they're coming to 4 to go. They're going to restart with 3 to go. I mean, I think those guys off pit road, they know they're giving up a playoff point and potentially points in general, so there is a negative to it. But now they're just going to be able to stay on the racetrack, cycle right back to the front. Your biggest concern is you just don't like being in the back, right? These guys up front are going to be battling for this point, but you got those guys that just came off pit road. They're going to be starting outside the top 20. It's going to be chaotic. And I actually, in 3 laps, I don't know if they'll get back to the top 10, but they'll be just fine.
22 laps more on the tires in front of the guys that just came to pit road.
I just don't think tires have much of a value. I don't, you know, I think Allgaier's faster than the handful in front of them, him and Hill. You know, they're going to be able to pass some guys, but
yeah, I think fuel's much more important. The tires seem to hang on. They're fine. You're not going to gain a big advantage by, you know, changing tires and launching. You're not going to get a, tremendous amount on those first 5 laps. So fuel is huge.
Well, I know what you guys are going to be talking about on Motor Mouse coming up this week, Monday and Wednesday at 6 o'clock on Peacock, as well as the Dale Jr. Download, streaming on Peacock as well. Fans, you can call in 844 NASCAR NBC. That's one of the great things about NASCAR American Motor Mouse is the fan interaction.
Yeah, awesome. We had Corey LaJoie on there this week. Had a great time chit-chatting with him. He and Kyle Petty hung out with those guys Wednesday. It was awesome. So Motor Mouse is a lot of fun.
I'm on Monday and Wednesday this week.
Oh man, you getting double checks.
You call me.
Get 2 checks.
You call me Monday or Wednesday. We'll talk.
Have you seen a Motor Mouth moment yet today?
Not yet, but the light's still on the pace car coming around to 3 to go. We could have a Motor Mouth moment right here on this restart.
Actually, maybe the choosing. Which lane they choose. Allmendinger, Gragson. Landon Castle is up there. Hemrick, Josh Berry, Anthony Alfredo.
So off pit road, deep in the field, Ty Gibbs is the first car in 18th. So he'll try to choose. I assume he's going to want to choose the top, try to use those tires down in 1 and 2 to go around the top. And this is where the world of NASCAR changed, right? So if he's 18th, he gets a couple rows on the choose. Now he's starting in row 6, row 7. I mean, that's not 18th anymore. That's 5-6 cars behind you.
That's up amongst them, yeah.
Yeah. Here's the choose. Just don't hit the box.
Top 2 have chose the outside line. I think we're starting to equal out again.
There's a 54. He's going to go to the shortest line, which is currently the bottom by my count. 7's going to take the top. But we've rode around now for at least an extra yellow lap than I thought we were going to run.
Marty.
Let's take a quick review of A.J. Allmendinger's day. The cool suit doesn't work. Car hasn't been handling very well, but here he could win stage 2. And in the top 6, 3 Holland race cars. Not one right behind him, but he does have a lot of teammates around him who could help him on this restart, Parker.
Right, Marty, and one of those is Landon Castle in that 10 car who started this race outside the top 10, inched his way into the top 10 and just outside the top 5 as we came this restart. He was 3rd there as they came to the choose cone. He went to the inside to start right beside his teammate AJ. He's very happy in that race car, and he told his team it's going to be all about the launch, Kim.
Well, we've been watching Kyle Weatherman. He qualified in the 8th position, and I asked him what the expectation is, and he said typically it's a top 15, but looking at our qualifying effort and where our speeds were during practice, he said it's probably a top 10 is their expectation for this weekend. Right now, currently running in the 10th position, and he also said he knows what he's capable of, but now he's really excited that other people get to see what talent he has on the racetrack.
And again, that's Jesse Iwuji Motorsports, and so Jesse, very proud of the effort that these guys have put forth today.
Landon Castle wants to win this stage. He's not worried about A.J. Allmendinger, a teammate. Landon wants to win this badly.
Allmendinger on the outside. Landon Castle is on the inside as they go back through the restart zone. 2 laps to go in stage 2. Big push on the inside. Josh Berry. Noah Gregson on that outside line.
Oh,
Allmendinger got a little bit of contact. He catches it. Castle on the inside. The 2 fighting for this top spot.
Landon holding his line very, very strong going into 2. Got it AJ just a little bit. AJ on the outside sweeps around.
Up the racetrack goes Castle. He gets in front of the 9 of Noah Gregson. He has to check up, coming up on the last lap of stage 2. 3 wide for second. Gregson able to sweep by on the inside. He takes that spot. Does Noah Gregson have enough track and enough time to get up there to potentially sweep the stages?
He's coming. He's making a lot of hay behind the 16.
He looks down low.
Big corner.
Allmendinger goes down low.
Wow. He's right there. He's right there.
Here comes Gregson.
Wow.
Out of turn 4. A drag race to the finish line. Gregson turns left.
Wow.
Gregson and Allmendinger finish 1 and 2. Gregson wins stage 2.
Ooh, that 9 is stout, boys. My goodness. Man, that's good. Great job taking the air, almost pulling AJ back to him as he got to his left rear quarter panel. Great job by Noah Gregson.
So Noah Gregson, what a run there. He sweeps stage 1 and stage 2. Ty Gibbs gets all the way up to 9th, but it was a close one. Allmendinger, a little bump there out of the 10 of Landon Castle and the 9 of Noah Gregson. Look how close it was, but Gregson gets the win in stage 2. NASCAR fans, don't let anything pass you by. The official app of NASCAR Tracks lets you stay up to date on the latest race and event information from all your favorite NASCAR tracks. Search NASCAR Tracks in the App Store to download for free. You can start using it today. See those blue skies over the grandstands here in Michigan. As stage 2 comes to an end, that means 63 laps remaining in this race. And Steve, obviously some differing strategies there, as we see. Looks like Sieg just hit a bottle that was out on the racetrack.
Yeah, so the 9 stayed out and got the stage wins. There was some value for him staying out. We look at some other guys that had some good things. Ryan Sieg, 5th. You know, he's the last guy on that playoff cut line. He's in a points battle with the 2, so those points very important to that team. The struggle for all these guys that are now going to have to pit is there's probably, I'm guessing, 8 or 10 guys that pitted under the previous yellow. They're going to stay on the racetrack. So there's enough time to recover, but you're just back in the mess a little bit. We haven't seen that big wreck on a restart yet, and they're a long ways from calm. So
you're making a prediction, I see. Let's go to Parker.
And what a comeback for Josh Berry from hitting the wall off of turn 2 early in the race to finishing 3rd there in stage 2. They elected not to fix that right rear earlier in the day, but did do some suspension adjustments on this 8 car. You see them going to work once again, putting 4 Goodyear tires in Sunoco Field. Just not happy. Feels like he might have hurt that race car getting in the wall, Marty.
2 playoff points in the bank for Noah Gragson, who's in the middle of your screen, who said after the stage ended, he got sick inside the race car. He said he wanted no adjustments to the race car. It is a warm day. Just ask AJ Allmendinger, who said it's extremely hot inside of his race car. And in fact, when the stage ended, said, "Are you serious?" referencing Gragson. They have a car that can do that. AJ very tight inside that race car.
Comes off the pit road second to Noah Gragson. Again, those 2 stayed out when the caution came out before the end of the stage. Tight race off of pit road. Again, a little bit of wall contact in stage 2. A lot of action taking place here at Michigan, ready for the final stage. That's coming up next. USA, the place where you'll find 7 of the next 8 Cup races. And again, of course, pre and post race shows will be on USA for the Xfinity Series. The next 7 Xfinity Series races. You want to do the math on that, Steve?
No, thank you.
15 of the next 16?
Yes, that's the rumor.
15 of the next 16 races on USA. And you can get ready for an all-access pass to the world of NASCAR. Like, never seen it before. The drama, the pressure, and the danger, all to become a champion. Don't miss the new NASCAR docuseries. It's Race for the Championship. That premieres September 1st on USA.
I love how USA, it's not just the races, right? They've really taken a hold of this NASCAR. That docuseries is going to be amazing.
Fantastic.
We've seen a couple different trailers, and I'm gonna tip my hat to the drivers, right? They've allowed the access that's required to have the coverage the fans deserve, right? They've allowed these cameras to come into their home, into their travel situations, into their haulers, their motorhomes, and you know, that's a lot, right? It's a lot for a star to not to be able to have that quiet time, but they've given that access to USA, and I think this is going to be a great docuseries for the fans.
It gives a little bit of own. They've got ownership, and so that's what fans love to see and love to be a part of, and giving them entree to their life off the racetrack and how it, you know, evolves throughout the week and what it takes to do this consistently for 36 weeks throughout the year. It's all encompassing. It's going to be fun to watch.
We saw Josh Berry on pit road just moments ago. They were putting a lot of tape on that right rear after he'd gotten into the wall. Maybe a little impatient. He was speeding getting off of pit road, and so he'll have to go to the back of the field. Marty.
We talked about A.J. Allmendinger's frustration on the radio, losing that stage to Noah Gragson. Here was everyone trying to calm him down.
Everything's fine, man. Calm down. Everything's good. We're all right. I know it sucks to suck, but still got to work. That's what we got to do right now.
Yeah, I get it, man. I'll be focused when it's time. It's just full defense all the time, and it's hotter than hell in here.
Yep, I 100% understand. Get it.
Brad, I have a feeling you've been on the other side of that radio trying to calm A.J. down. You know what Chris Rice is going through right now.
A.J. is very fiery. He's going to give it. He'll give it all, though, no doubt about it.
A couple young drivers up front here as we start the final stage. Gibbs on the outside in the 54. Smith on the inside in the 18. Combined age 37. Big shove from the 21 of Hill as Ty Gibbs surging to the front now.
Now the 7's going to come up, give this 21 a huge push into 3. What's Austin Hill going to do with it? He's going to look left, look right, kind of stay in line. Surprised he didn't take the momentum to try to pass the 54. The 18 kind of stuck in no man's land on the bottom.
How about the one of Sam Mayer coming up now?
Sam's coming out of nowhere. It's a good run for Sam. He's getting himself up front, getting in the mix. And that 21 car, Austin Hill, we've seen him be spectacular at these racetracks where it's, you know, you're not on the brake. So
Austin Hill will be making his Cup Series debut tomorrow afternoon. We see Hill right in the tire track, so the 54 of Ty Gibbs. Gibbs, the young man, the most wins already this season, 4 in the Xfinity Series. He's doing double duty as well. He'll drive the 45 for the still injured Kurt Busch. I think that's been eye-opening. So many people think that these cars are so safe week in and week out, and yet Kurt Busch for the 3rd week in a row will be sidelined because of an accident.
Yeah, it really has gotten everyone's attention in that garage area, and we're all wishing Kurt the best. And he's back racing soon, but definitely eye-opening for these guys and made them take stock of some things and the ongoing conversations about safety.
We talked it was going to be a challenge for the guys that chose to stay out when you get back in traffic. Here's what happens. Allmendinger has a good race car. Trafficked everywhere, though. Comes up the racetrack, and, man, he has to just turn the wheel to stay off the 68. You see the car kind of snap. The 27, the Jeb Burton right behind him. Allmendinger's doing a nice job. He's up to 10. But, you know, it's just never fast enough. You want to get those spots right away. As we see Allgaier pestering Hill for 2nd. Smith in 4th back there. Sam Mayer in 5th. Don't add any more ages together, Rick. I was feeling pretty good about it, just being a little over 40. And man, if you're not a teenager, you don't really even fit in this group.
Yeah, when I had 2 guys that are, if I add their ages together, and they're still younger than you combined.
Look at that 18. That's the moment that the 7. Now here's the difference. That's the same thing the 7 tried to do when the 7 was leading, but the difference was the 7 had clean air as well. So you could just kind of straighten the wheel and chase it off the corner. Now this time, the 18 was able to get in there. Now the question, though, is where is the 1 going to go? Allgaier's looking back there going, come on now, Sam, you're my buddy. You're a Junior Motorsports car. Let's drive up here to my rear bumper. Oh, now, big damage on the left front. I think it happened on the front stretch.
Yeah, big tire up there on the left front for
you can
Sam
see it.
Mayer.
Oh, wow.
It's hard to see with that paint scheme, but you can see it obvious zoomed in.
Yeah.
This car's going to have to come to pit road. That's high-speed track. It's not going to last long.
A little bit of smoke.
Team told him to bring it to pit road, Steve. They think that's going to blow.
All right, 55 to go in the race, so the fortunate part is if you can make it a lap or two more, you probably could stretch the fuel to the finish, but this is a scary situation for Sam.
Smoke pretty good down the front, two back on the top.
Composite bodies, Steve, so it's not the metal body anymore, but it's still, obviously there's been some damage to the left front that is rubbing on that left front tire.
Yeah, so let's see right here. Oh, you see it. So basically, two young drivers. The 7's up top, the 18's down bottom. The 1, though, isn't really following the 7. He's kind of in no man's land between them. Definitely the 18's fault. He comes up into the 1, but the 1 was kind of in a spot where I'm not sure the 18 knew where he was.
Here we come, fellas. 4.
Parker.
And right, Steve, it was a little bit indecisive where he went lane-wise there. You got to kind of choose and know who you're racing when you have an experienced driver like Sammy Smith there, you know, making that move up. And what a shame for Sam in this 1 car, because he started this race back in 26 after making a mistake in qualifying, found themselves in this 3rd stage, now in the top 5, was happy with that race car, especially on the long run and on the bottom, and now on pit road fixing that damage.
You see composite body. It's tough to smash in, tough to pull out once it goes in. Top of your screen, the 7 of Allgaier is having fits with the 21. He sees Gibbs getting smaller out front. He's better than the 21. Now he's going to just find a way by.
Kim.
We see Austin Hill there in the 2nd position, and he told us during our Cup Series practice coverage that there's a lot of tools that he didn't realize that they had for him. And I asked him after that, what's he able to take from that and apply here to the Xfinity Series? And he said, well, there's passing studies, there's drafting studies, aero studies on the Cup side that, as you see the 7 pass him there, that hopefully will translate. So he's using this double duty weekend to both improve on the Xfinity Series side as well as learn things on the Cup Series side, as he's still side by side. Justin Allgaier not able to make the pass just yet.
Shorter way around the racetrack, and Allgaier will make the pass now as he went to the bottom of the racetrack. That puts Hill back in the 3rd spot. Now, Allgaier, who's been very strong in this race, we'll see if he's able to reel in Ty Gibbs, who's put two full seconds between 1st and 2nd. There's the gap.
See, AJ and Noah Gregson both have moved up to 7th and 8th, so they're starting to make their way forward just a little bit.
Those two with the freshest tires. Allmendinger, Gregson. But it's Gibbs, Allgaier, Austin Hill, Sammy Smith, Brandon Jones, Riley Herbst, 1 through 6. Marty.
Boy, Rick, after qualifying, everybody was wondering what's going on with Joe Gibbs Racing in the Toyotas. But here they are in the race, 1st, 4th, and there he is, 5th. Brandon Jones just passed for 5th, so an impressive run here in the race for these guys. Steve, talking to Chris Gale this morning, he said, I feel like I've done more coaching this weekend than normal because this is such a line-sensitive racetrack. And he said Ty flat missed it in qualifying. So we talked about, hey, don't drive that deep into the corner. You got to back up your corners a little bit more. Why, Steve? It's Michigan, such a line-sensitive place. You got to get it to these young Gibbs drivers, though. They figured it out in the race.
There's just not a lot of landmarks, you know. While there is those paving seams, I mean, look out the front windshield or off the roof right here. I mean, he drives down in here. I mean, what tells you to lift, right? I mean, there's this huge corner in front of me. It looks like you could drive down here. And I also think this is the challenges of driving both series, right? Remember, he ran Xfinity, and then he ran the Cup car, and now he's back at Xfinity, and I think they drive quite a bit different, especially on corner entry speed.
Ty Gibbs up front. Josh Berry, after the speeding penalty, has made his way up to 14th. Allmendinger running in the 6th spot with the freshest tires.
.78 laps complete here in stage 3. Sheldon Creed driving that number 21, currently sitting in the 8th position. Sheldon, the rookie with RCR, no wins yet on the season, but he is hoping to make those playoffs. I mentioned earlier he entered this race 50 points below the playoff cut line, but that team is peaking at a critical point here in the season. Over the last 5 races, they've made up a total of 50 points on the playoff bubble. Sheldon had a pair of top 5 finishes at New Hampshire and Loudon, and currently running in the top 10 right now, could make up a lot more ground here with a strong finish today at Michigan.
Joe Gibbs Racing with a good showing here with just 44 laps to go as we take a look at the Toyota driver update. Ty Gibbs running up front. Smith Jones 3rd and 5th, and John Hunter Nemechek back in the 13th position.
Gibbs is now with a 2.4 second lead. Starting to catch a little traffic. That's kind of the Allgaier's best chance to try to take some chunks off this lead. And Smith back there in 3rd, about 4 seconds back. His car drives really good. Looks nice. Run around the bottom.
Steve, we see in the bottom left of the screen there under race strategy, the pit window is now open. So how soon do you come to pit road if you are, say, Ty Gibbs?
You know, so it's a little different in the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. If I'm Ty Gibbs, I run until this thing needs fuel. I run as absolute long as I can. I have a 2.5 second lead. I gave up the finish in stage 2 to get this track position. There's no reason to gamble, right? You don't have to triple down on your risk. You've done what you needed to do. You've got the track position. You're close to 40 laps to go. No reason to give it back up. Let somebody else push you to do something creative. At this point, sometimes you can overthink it. You got a good car. You got the lead, a 2.5 second lead. Just sit back and enjoy it. Run some laps off.
Well, and you get out, and that's kind of the issue. You want something to focus on a little bit too. And so you're out there, you got a good race car. You don't want to overthink it like you're talking about. Race the racetrack. Keep yourself occupied because it's spread out.
You have a big piece of debris on the
just
grill.
really flying.
Just watch your shim.
Uh-oh.
If we get close to the 1, you might want to use him a little bit to get that debris off.
Marty, what do you got?
So there you go, Brad. Young drivers always learning something, and there is that debris on the grill that Chris Gale was talking about. So, Steve, you got to coach your young driver through, hey, get up behind the 1, lose that debris. We see this happen often here at Michigan Big 2 Mile Racetrack, right? Well, they found the debris, and usually the leader, for some reason, always seems to find it.
Well, it's already running warm. If you look at that right side, base of the window, water coming out of the hood of the 54. Car is already overheating. This is a concern for this car right here because that one car they talked about is, 20 car lengths in front of him. So it's easy to say get there, but he's not getting there quick enough to get this debris off. So the water comes out time. It's not a steady stream yet, but if it continues to heat up, this is how you could lose the race.
So we'll have to check up just a little bit to get up behind the 1.
You see the water stopped, so perhaps there's enough air going in there now. Maybe there was just a little bit of residual from his qualifying lap that kind of pushed out that overflow.
And Steve, how much information do you want to know from the driver if you're the crew chief on what those temperatures are, where it's running?
There's preset mins and maxes, and so Gibbs should already know what the limit is, and until it gets to another limit or it's gaining at a certain rate, I don't need to know it. You know, I think, like I said, when I look at the right side of that car, I continue to see a little bit of fluid leak out. You know, it doesn't have to be a locomotive. It doesn't have to be the biggest steam thing you have. If that valve is open and it's trickling water out, that is doing, you know, potential damage. Right here would be a moment. I think I'd get up behind this O2, Marty.
Busiest guy right now, Tony Hirschman, the spotter. He's running to every car that's in front of Ty Gibbs saying, hey, help us out here. Let's see if the O2 plays along and the debris flies off. Ty got as close as he could. Did it come off?
It did.
It did. Look at that. Nice move by the young driver, Ty Gibbs.
So that's the advantage of the O2. As I mentioned, you know, the 1 was way out there, but the O2 kind of was a little bit slower, backed up to him. Nice job by the 54, and he lost about a half a second or so.
So you wouldn't have thought of pitting?
I would definitely not.
Window.
No, I mean, not without at least giving it a shot.
Right.
We're inside the fuel window, but you got to lose a lap, and Allgaier, Smith, Hill, those guys are not going to react. They're not going to come down to pit road with you because your new tires aren't going to gain you enough time. So I'm going to be thankful you gave me a little track position.
Blaine Perkins just got used in the O2.
Yeah.
But it was good for the 54. Blaine Perkins behind the wheel of the O2. It was Brett Moffitt a week ago. They announced this week that those two would be going separate ways, Our Motorsports and Brett Moffitt, as we see the 9 working to the inside of the 19 of Jones, trying to take that 5th position away. Noah Gregson, who'd been so strong, won the first 2 stages.
Look at that side job.
I've been watching him, guys. He's coming. He is really stout. He's hitting his marks. He's just picking up a little bit of track position, lap after lap after lap. In the next 10 laps, he's going to be up amongst them, I'm telling you right now.
And Allmendinger doing a nice job kind of leapfrogging, staying with him.
Those two have been really, really fast, trying to get their way back up into that top 5. And Gregson's there.
Landon Castle still up inside the top 10, running in that 9th position, but it's Gregson, the car on the move, Marty.
I'll tell you, this move by Noah Gregson and also A.J. Allmendinger to go for those stage points. Pretty smart move. I'm kind of impressed. They restarted 14th and 16th. They've made their way up through the field. Gregson right now in 5th. Allmendinger sitting there in 7th, trying to get that from Brandon Jones. And you've got to wonder, would they think maybe a little strategy play here at the end as well to maybe leapfrog some of those guys who are in front of them, Parker?
Right, and for Brandon Jones there, you saw how he got passed by Noah Gregson. It was into turn 3, and that has been the weak spot for this 19 car, having a strong day running the top 5 throughout this day. But where the team has been asking him to work, you see him moving up the racetrack there, trying to run that higher groove, is the entry to turn 3, just carrying more speed in there and giving him a better run off as he's able to hold off AJ off of turn 4 there for the 19, but still focusing on trying to get into turn 3 a little better.
Look at the traffic Ty Gibbs is coming into here. Weaving in and out of the cars.
The traffic hasn't been his friend. He's lost another half a second to the 7. A little bit to get the debris off, totally understanding, but traffic has cost him a little bit. The question is, will it cost the 7 the same, right? He has to go by the same cars. Will he be fortunate enough to catch him in the same spot? Will he not? What you'd love to do is get a nice run right here, catch him about to start finish, be able to clear him and get back into your preferred lane before the corner.
The gap was over 2 seconds. Now it's under a second and a half between Gibbs, the leader, and Justin Allgaier running second.
Just over 30 laps to go here from Michigan Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Ty Gibbs currently your leader. Now, interestingly enough, when you look at this season so far in this series, 5 races have ended in a last lap pass for the win. And 3 of those ended with Ty Gibbs getting that win. That 54 obviously hoping to hold off. Now Gregson was our pole sitter for today's race. Interestingly enough, in the entire history of the Xfinity Series at Michigan, 26 races, only 3 times have we seen a pole sitter win that race. Now Gregson still in the top 5 and very much still in contention for the win here as we approach 30 laps to go from Michigan.
Coming up on under 30 laps to go, you're watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series from Michigan, New Holland 250. And one driver who's made up a lot of ground, 25 positions already, is Josh Berry. Power Moves. They are brought to you by the Propane Education and Research Council. And here's the 8 of Josh Berry. Again, 25 spots already. The Power Moves. Again, by the Propane Education and Research Council.
Yeah, he's been steady. Got to the wall a little bit early, and he has just marched his way right back up and put himself in good position. Solid day.
He is going to kick himself for that speeding penalty because he's 9th right now, and I don't think he would be the leader, but he'd be up there with the 9, I think.
I agree.
Like in the 4th place.
Yeah.
He's a little out of touch. He needs a caution and a restart. He definitely still is in a chance to win this race, but he needs a yellow to do it. 16 of Allmendinger continuing to grind his way, keeping up with that 9 of Gregson.
Parker.
Yeah, and Josh Berry turning very fast lap times. He was the fastest car on the racetrack just a lap ago, in the top 5 fastest race cars that last lap. And you guys mentioned he hit the wall early on in this race. Felt like he really hurt that race car. They elected not to fix that right rear under the stage 1 caution, but under stage 2, they did. They put a bunch of tape and bear bond on there, trying to fix that right rear to help it out, and this car has come back to life. You mentioned driving up from back in the 34th after having that speeding penalty during that sequence of fixing that right rear, and now finds himself with a really fast race car. If a caution were to come out, he might be in a great position. Remember, he was one of the best cars in the long run here last year, but lost it on the short run in those late race restarts. He told me if that happens again, he's not going to lose a race in the short run.
We ride on board with Riley Herbst. You see a great look at, man, just that wheel, tugging on that wheel, tight, waiting, little free on exit. I see now why it got free, because Eight
got a little snug under him too.
Yeah, jamming that air into the left rear quarter panel.
What a ride there for Riley Herbst as we ride along Monster Energy Cam.
Let's take another look at that. We were riding on board, and we saw the wheel of the 98 kind of being straight, and the 8 gets, I assume, tight right here up the hill, and as that air compresses, you see the wheel turn to the right, and then the 8 gets loose when he finally has to turn the wheel.
Riley Herbst still looking for that first career win. Such a close call there with Josh Berry.
This thing has a chance to come down to a green flag pit cycle. I bring that up because this series is about learning NASCAR and moving your way up, and these young drivers just don't get a lot of chances anymore to do green flag pit stops. So as we see on the left side, Jones, the 19 car, first car to come to pit road. Parker.
Right, see, first of the leaders here to hit pit road. He was just getting too tight inside that 19 car. Has run up in the top 5 throughout this day. The team has asked him to work on his entries into turn 3, and at the end of that run asked him to work on his entry into turn 1 as well. So just trying to carry more entry speed in 19. It's 4 Goodyear tires. It's no-go feel for him, Kim.
And Justin Allgaier's team on the wall, waiting for his approach. You see him there in the 7. He said he had good long-run speed and maneuverability, could make moves on the track, especially when he had clean air. You see them on the right side. Looks maybe a little slow. 4 tires for Justin Allgaier here on pit road.
Yeah, the pit stops for the 7 have been anything but smooth. A couple slow ones under yellow, this one under green. As long as we have no penalties, he'll rejoin, and then we just kind of wait for the leader, the 54, to come to pit road.
Which might be
Here
now.
He comes. He's going to come a lap later, comes down the banking, riding on board. Marty, here comes the 54. They're hoping to have a clean stop, and we'll compare him to the 7 on the racetrack.
Yeah, they reminded him, listen, you have a big gap on the racetrack. You see it there over Sammy Smith of 2+ seconds. No need to push it here. But Chris Gale said something interesting, Steve. He said the guys who ran that stage out last time might have shorter stops, meaning he thinks maybe they'll play a little strategy here. For Ty Gibbs, going to be 4 fresh Goodyear tires going on. Said the car fired off a little bit too tight, fired off 3, and was a little bit too tight at the end of the run for the 54. Who's been so dominant here in the second half of the race. Looks like a clean stop for the 54. Let's see where he cycles out with Justin Allgaier.
See on the left side of the track map, the 7 of Allgaier coming off turn 4 with a ton of traffic in front. If he can't pass the 54, he definitely wants the 54 to at least get stuck in that traffic. Oh, I think this is going to be a little closer than we think. 54 is on the apron exiting turn 2. Oh, this is going to be...
This is going to be great. Here we go.
Worst case scenario for the 7. The 54 is in front of the traffic, and the 7 is behind the traffic. So not only did he not pass him, but he got split by about 8 cars in the cycle. Great work by the crew on the 54, by the driver to get on and on pit road. You know, what might only be a second. You see what a second looks like on the racetrack, all of that traffic. Now the 21 of Hills leading. Allmendinger second, Barry third, Herbst fourth. This will be interesting to see if someone does something different on pit road.
Josh Berry again after the speeding penalty and the issues that they've had with the right rear, up to second. Allmendinger up front. Kim.
You see Austin Hill there in the 21. He told me they've been having the great run they have because he and Andy have made good decisions on how to make adjustments on the race car late in the race to set them up for good finishes. You see them making an adjustment right there. Chassis adjustment, 4 tires, chassis, fuel for Austin Hill.
Well, and a good day's gone bad for the youngster Sammy Smith in the 18 car. We talked about green flag pit stops. We're not sure where it was on pit road. Speeding penalty. Huge mistake. It happens. He's young. That's why he's in this series. Only his 3rd start. We see on the bottom left on the pylon, the 18 car Sammy Smith will have to come back down pit road and do a pass through. And any chance at the top 5 is going to go out the window.
Too fast exiting. Barney.
A.J. Allmendinger coming down pit road, who said earlier, I'll be dialed in when it counts. Shoots a little far in the stall there. He said it's better, but tighter in all that traffic. Remember, they stayed out there and had to run through all the traffic. Steve, they're going with 4 fresh Goodyear tires as well. I'm kind of surprised. You mentioned it. No one went with a strategy move here. Fuel only, maybe 2 tires. No one went with that with 21 to go.
Yeah, if this race runs green to the finish, the choice to stay out to win stage 2 for the 9 and the 16 will be the choice that gave them no chance to win this race in the closing laps. You don't know when the car, what do I say? You tell me when the yellows will come out, I'll tell you how to pit. It was a strategy decision and a sound decision. It just didn't fall their way yet. We could easily see another yellow as we see the 98 on pit road, Kim.
And Riley describing that car is just a little bit too tight. He can't get into the corner, but on the flip side, when it gets too close to the wall, it's too loose. Parker, 4 tires, Sunoco fuel for Riley Herbst.
Landon Castle on pit road here, pitting for the 2nd position here through the cycle. 4 Goodyear tires for him, and Sunoco fuel just a little tight inside that 10 car.
Pit road very busy. And looked as though the 08s of David Starr had an issue on pit road. They had to bring out a fire extinguisher. Now the 8 is coming in front of you, Parker.
Yeah. Right, pits out the lead as we go through this cycle here. The team reminding him that when he sped on pit road in stage 2, that was at the entry, so don't do it. They're catching others as well, speeding. 4 tires here for Josh Berry for this car that has come to life here late in the race after getting that right rear fixed a little bit. We'll just see if they have enough laps to make use of it.
So as this thing cycles out, you're looking at it, and you're right. I think, you know, Noah Gregson is going to need a caution in order to have an opportunity to win this race. He's going to be right back up in the top 5, I do believe, at some pretty soon here. But you know, he's 4 seconds behind Allgaier, and 6 seconds behind Gibbs. So he's going to need a caution for some help.
Yeah, Anthony Alfredo, Ryan C., Kyle Weatherman out on fumes, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. They'll have to come to pit road. Hoping for yellow. I like this strategy. Like what, try to hope something to flip it in your direction. That will give the 54 the lead if it happens. There's a 23 of Anthony Alfredo, 44 laps since the last pit stop. He could probably run, I think, 2 or 3 more from everything we've heard. Same for Ryan Sieg and Weatherman. And there's the issue you mentioned for David Starr.
Yeah, they continue to bring the fire extinguisher down there. Brakes on fire for the 08. We were talking about Anthony Alfredo, who's out front. He's got starts in the Cup Series and the Truck Series, but this is his first Xfinity Series start, as now he comes to pit road and gives up the lead. The 23-year-old out of Ridgefield, Connecticut, was up front.
Well, we're running out of laps fast, and
we are, but the one thing I will say as we see the 23 come to pit road is the 7 of Allgaier has been more successful through traffic than the 54. He's got it under a 2-second gap. 17 laps to go. That can go away in one corner. You catch a lap car the wrong way.
Ryan Sieg scored out front now with Kyle Weatherman running in the 2nd spot. And then it's Ty Gibbs in 3rd. And he is the one driver who we know can make it all the way to the end. Chasing after Sieg and Weatherman out in front of the field right now. Ty Gibbs just 0.6 of a second in front of Allgaier now as the pit cycle has cycled through, and Ty Gibbs with that 0.6 of a second lead. Under 13 laps to go. We're going to be here till the finish, and then post-race covering all the way until 6:30 tonight here on USA.
And it's all traffic. I think the 54 is a good car, but not a great car. And he really loses a ton of time when he has to get out of his preferred lane. The 7 of Allgaier, while he does lose some time, he's more efficient through traffic. That's really how this gap has shrunk.
Yeah, and as these guys approach more and more traffic, you see Gregson kind of starting to creep back up there to Allgaier. He's only 3 seconds behind him now, which is significant. It was 7 at one point. So it's going to be huge. Who can make it through traffic unencumbered and who can't?
And if you're listening to 7 radio right now, he's screaming about this 31. Myatt Snyder drove right into turn 1, right in his lane. Now listen, Myatt Snyder is running his own race as well. He's currently 1 lap down. So I don't know why he would race the 7 this hard. I guess the whole point for him is he's just trying to stay in the free pass position. That's where he's at currently, but Allgaier is going to be very upset about that.
Come on, Myatt.
Took him a lot of work to get by the 31 there.
Yeah, he just kind of crossed a lane getting into 1 and parked it in front of the 7. Cost him almost a half a second.
And Steve, so many times we see a car that's the last car on the lead lap. They'll fight tooth and nails to stay in front of the lead lap car, but once the leader of the race gets by him and they're not on the lead lap any longer, normally they let the guys that are racing first and second, they let them by.
Well, and that's what I think what Allgaier was looking for right there. I mean, Myers is in a race. He's trying to stay in front of Kaz Garland, the 48 for the free pass, which could change his entire day if a yellow comes out. But Allgaier is definitely not thinking about that at this point. Here comes the 9 of Gregson. This thing runs greens to the finish, man. There's going to be a lot of what coulda, shoulda.
Oh, he's going to be so disappointed. He's been the fastest car on the racetrack most of the day, and not being able to utilize it. Went for the playoff point. I mean, yeah, he could have come, but that's tough, man. You would have come down pit road.
I would have definitely hit it before the end of the stage, for sure.
They decided to go after the points.
3.2 seconds back, Marty.
And I will say that was Noah Gregson's call. He's the one who said, you know what, let's go for the playoff point. But Steve, put yourself in Luke Lambert's shoes. You know, you have the fastest car here in Michigan, clearly quicker than the 2 cars in front of you. This is one you're going to want to have back, no doubt about it. And I'm sure they thought there would be a caution here in stage 3, but with 9 to go and the fastest car, looks like without that caution, they won't make it to victory lane.
Well, I figured they thought there would be a caution. And the other side to this is, look, it's a season-long battle of emotion. Luke Lambert and Noah Gregson have found success. Noah might be saying, you know, I love this call, but Noah does, and I'm going to give this one to the driver. I'm going to let him make this call, come down, and if it doesn't work, that's okay. I'm not even going to be upset. I'm not even going to question a race we could have won. What we're going to do is walk out of here arm in arm with a great race car, knowing that we have a chance at a championship. And sometimes in the summer, it's not even about where you run in or how many points you scored, but it's how you did it together as a team that matters. This can be one that I think Luke and Noah are going to grow together on. You liked his attitude.
Love his attitude.
Maybe this is Luke saying, you know what, I appreciate his maturity. I'm going to give him a little bit more responsibility in this and support him, right or wrong.
I agree.
And Parker, it's been a busy day for Josh Berry.
It has. If you want to add another team to the maybe would want a do-over on this one, it's this 8 car of Josh Berry. We documented how he hit the wall early. The car got away from him a little bit in terms of speed-wise, but they were able to fix it. And in this third stage, just in the last couple laps, he has been continually the fastest car on the racetrack. Remember, was so close to winning here last year. Ended up 4th after some late restarts. But man, he has had a really fast car in this third stage. And maybe if they don't make that mistake early, we'd be in that conversation for the win right now.
Fastest car on the racetrack last time around.
Brad, 1.8 seconds separating Gibbs and Allgaier. Is there anything that Allgaier can do now to catch that 54?
I think, you know, Gibbs has got so much clean air out in front of him. He's just managing his positioning right now. Allgaier's coming as hard as he can. I just don't think he's going to be able to get there. He's going to need a little bit of help, either through a caution or a little bit of traffic, and that traffic's not going to impede Gibbs' progress at all, it doesn't look like.
Getting by the lap traffic here as Allgaier is working his way by the lap traffic, Kim.
And Justin Allgaier politely upset with the lap traffic. Take a listen to the radio.
Dude, what are we doing? My goodness. We need to keep pedaling. The 9's coming fast right here. Yeah, I see that. I know that. Can't help when lap cars just decide they're going to take your lane.
So as you can hear, not as extraneous and mean as he could have been on the radio with how frustrated he is with some of the lap traffic he's had to deal with in chasing down Ty Gibbs.
Burdette got on there and said, man, I hear you, but keep pedaling.
Keep digging.
Forget the leader.
Our teammate's coming.
Yeah.
5 to go from Michigan. 1.6 seconds separating Gibbs and Allgaier.
But up front, in front of the 7, that 54 kind of got trapped behind a lap car right here.
He did.
The 23 of Alfredo ran him a little low. That's all it kind of takes, and now he's side drafting. The 54 is, I'm guessing, losing his mind.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably not. He's probably young and calm. I'm the guy losing my mind. If I'm the crew chief for the 54, I'm yelling on the radio. Tell the spotter or the 23 to help us out. I was never as calm as.
No, and you looking at that, and I just said before he got to him that he was going to have no problems with the lap cars, and he gets there and he races him that hard. Be very, very upset with that.
4 laps now to go for Ty Gibbs, looking for win number 5 on the season.
The beauty for Gibbs right now is he exits turn 2, only really 1 car in his vision that he may catch before the end of the race. Checks his mirror, likes what he sees. Lap car between him and the 7.
Again, a busy week for Ty Gibbs, busy weekend. He'll be doing double duty, run the Cup Series race tomorrow afternoon, subbing for the injured Kurt Busch. And that 2311 car, the 45 on the Cup side.
I'm going to tell you what, Noah Gregson's the fastest car on the racetrack. What a shame. I mean, my goodness. I know we just went through it and talked about it, but man, he is so fast.
Are you disappointed because you picked Noah Gregson, as did everyone else?
But I'm looking at his speeds, and he is absolutely flying, and not going to have a trophy to show for it.
I was a little surprised that nobody put the winningest driver so far this year in their picks in the pre-race.
In practice, Joe Gibbs Racing was a distant third to JRM and Colleague on raw speed. Now,
and
that's practice.
If the 9 car doesn't, if they don't stay out, then it's no contest. He's out front by about 4 seconds right now. So just the decisions.
The decisions that were made put Ty Gibbs up front, and he's raced a great race up to this point. Again, now a 1.3 second lead over Justin Allgaier as Gibbs comes through 3 and 4, and the next time by he's going to see the white flag. One more time around, 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank.
Looking at a man in total control. Check the mirrors.
It's a nice little drive on a Saturday afternoon.
Doing a heck of a job. It all comes back to that restart, right? Kept the track position when it mattered. Pit stops and restarts.
Practice and qualifying, we talked a lot about the maturity of this young man, just 19 years old. We knew he was going to have great equipment just because of his last name. Ty Gibbs, driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, is going to grab his 9th career win. It comes at Michigan. What a run for Ty Gibbs. There's Coach Gibbs.
Awesome job. Let's go, guys.
He did a great job.
How about that?
Great job by Ty.
Allgaier was 1.1 seconds back. Gibbs leads 54 laps in the 54 car here today. Noah Gregson led 39 laps, but ends up, after winning stage 1 and stage 2, finishing 3rd today. Brandon Jones with a 4th place finish. And Austin Hill, again, who will make his Cup Series debut tomorrow, finishes in 5th. Gibbs, Gregson, Hill. 3 drivers that will run in the Cup Series tomorrow. All top 5 finishes for those young drivers. Steering wheel off for the burnout for young Ty Gibbs.
His celebration was as impressive as his drive.
How about Michigan and the diversity that it's showing? 12 different drivers in the last 12 races here that have won.
Incredible. Oh, he had to make good decisions today. Put yourself in good positions. Steve made the call right before the last stage, told us what everyone should do, and that was a tough call. I mean, Noah and AJ both stayed out, tried to get those points, and it cost them a chance to win a race today. But it's tough. Ty did a great job, kept his nose clean, raced hard, got his race car better, got out front, checked out on him, in the story.
Young Ty Gibbs flexing on top of the car. Going to go grab the checkered flag. What a day it has been for Ty. And remember, he was the one who had a little bit of debris on the front of that car, had to slide in behind the 0-2 of Lane Perkins to get the debris to come off. It was increasing the temperature, but he was able to clear that off and captures his 5th win of 2022. And a great crowd seeing it.
I just love the personality, right? He's a star at 19. That's a lot for anyone.
Yeah.
I think he's figuring out how he wants to be, who he wants to be, what he's excited for.
Yeah.
He's a great young man, well-spoken, very polite. I like the personality, right?
Ton of talent, too.
He's a star.
Ton of talent.
Yeah, definitely not a lack of talent from young Ty Gibbs. I remember it was not that long ago when we heard the name Ty Gibbs. I believe it was Myrtle Beach where he got his first win, and Coach Joe Gibbs was there. Grandfather Coach Joe Gibbs was at Myrtle Beach for that first win, and everybody thought, okay, this kid, he's showing a lot of talent. What will happen when he gets up into, say, the Truck Series or the Xfinity Series? Well, he's showing us exactly what will happen. Already, in just 2 seasons, 9 wins and a burnout in victory lane.
I love it.
And Marty is down there in the Ruoff Mortgage victory lane.
Boy, what an impressive day for Joe Gibbs Racing, Ty Gibbs, on a day when everybody was talking about Colleague. Junior Motorsports coming into the day. It's Joe Gibbs Racing and Ty Gibbs who leads the most laps and winds up in victory lane at Michigan. Just his second start here. Faced some adversity all day long with that debris that you mentioned, Rick. And now he climbs out. A big statement win from Joe Gibbs Racing and Ty Gibbs. Boy, on a day when crew wants to celebrate. On a day when qualifying didn't go your way, everybody talking about a hug for everybody. Hey, Ty, on a day when everybody was talking about everybody else but Joe Gibbs Racing, how did you guys pull off the win this afternoon?
Yeah, you know, we had a very fast Monster Energy Toyota GR Supra. I'm so excited. Awesome to win this. You know, I feel like this style of racing shows the strategy in the pit stops. So, you know, even though it's pretty spread out, you know, my guys did a great job. You know, my pit crew, they worked so hard to work out with them during the week, and I see how hard they work. So, every one of them, you know, they're a great job. And, you know, my cousin's pitted now in the 22, so it's cool to see my family involved. So, all glory to God, all glory to Jesus, and thank you to my team, Monster Energy, TRD, Sport Clips, Interstate Batteries. My car was faster than Xfinity Speed Internet, so let's go. I'm just kidding, it wasn't as fast. But, yeah.
There you go. Hey, Chris Gale told me this morning this is a race where all the cards are on the table. We'll know who has what going into the playoffs. So what kind of statement was this from Joe Gibbs Racing and you today?
I don't mean, it depends who you look at. I just race week in, week out, but people can get all excited and think they're making a huge statement, and then they go in the playoffs and suck. So I'm just doing what I can week in, week out, and I'm glad to be interviewed by you, Marty.
Yeah, you had a busy day in the Cup car as well. Are those laps helping you when you get in this Xfinity car?
I mean, I'm very thankful for the opportunity. You know, we hope Kurt gets better, but that doesn't help me. It's so different, and the way the car is so different. So you think these are hard to drive. Wait till you get the Cup Series.
What a performance from Ty Gibbs and everyone at Joe Gibbs Racing today. They're in victory lane here at Michigan.
All smiles for the young man there. Ty Gibbs once again grabbing the checkered flag and showing at 19 years old how mature this young man can be. And he knows, he's very aware. You got the steering wheel out, 5 wins, a handful of wins already for Ty Gibbs. We'll be back with plenty more from Michigan after this.
Win number 5 of the season for Ty Gibbs. And hey, when you look at that finishing order, ended up being a pretty strong day for those two Colleague cars of Daniel Hemrick and Landon Castle. You heard them mention that Daniel was pretty vocal going into this race, that he doesn't feel like he's been able to give Colleague Racing the best from him this season and was hoping for a strong finish to the year. Well, an 8th place finish here today for that 11 team seems pretty strong to me. I also mentioned Landon Castle. He finished just outside of the top 10 here today. Both drivers currently sitting above the playoff cut line as we approach 5 races to go in the regular season.
Celebration beginning for Ty Gibbs. It's only going to last through the evening, though. He's got double duty this weekend as he'll be back behind the wheel of the 45 on the Cup Series side, subbing for Kurt Busch. As we look at the playoff standings, 5 wins now, 28 playoff points for Ty Gibbs. Now only 5 races remaining in the regular season before the playoffs begin for the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, and on the other side of it, Ryan Sieg did a great job in that stage 2. We talked a lot about that strategy.
Yeah.
He scored points and kept that gap to Sheldon Creed. Great job by that 39 team trying to assure themselves a spot in the playoffs.
That was a great decision, but the one that's going to chew on me tonight, and I didn't even race, was Noah Gragson and that 19. They had the fastest car all day long. We talked about it, and I've changed my mind. He's not going to sleep tonight. There's no way.
17 laps out front for Justin Allgaier, and he ends up second. He's with Kim.
And Justin Allgaier comes up 1 spot short. I know you were frustrated with some of that lap traffic there. What more did you need?
I just had a couple of errors today that really kept us from racing with a 54 there, but hats off to Ty, did a great job. And this team, you know, our brand fresh driving culture Camaro was really good all day, and we chose to play the right strategy. We gave up some points, I think, to the in the regular season points, but I think it was the right strategy. And you know, I picked a wrong lane on one of the restarts, and that was just kind of the difference maker. But all in all, a good day, hot day, but a good day, and proud of our team, proud of the effort. We'll go on next week to Watkins Glen, I guess, and hopefully go to victory lane there.
I heard you tell Jason Burdett on the radio at the end of the race, it's not fun coming off pit lane behind guys that pitted after you. I know you had a slow last stop. How do you alleviate issues like that?
Well, it wasn't necessarily the guys that we came out behind that pitted in front of us. It was I pitted to try and get clear of some lap cars, and unfortunately we merged back on the racetrack right behind those same lap cars right before they made their pit stop. So not only did we have to contend with getting by them, as soon as we got by them, they all pitted. So just disappointing, but you know, that's just how this goes. That's how the sport is. Huge thanks to all of our partners. Obviously, Hendrick, Engine Shop, Chevrolet, Xfinity for all they do for the sport. It's second place. You know, second place is tough, but my daughter's birthday's on Monday, so we'll celebrate even though it's a second.
Happy birthday, Harper.
Thank you.
That's Justin Allgaier, P2 finish here at
finished
Michigan.
third, led 39 laps, and you said we should have pitted. Were you referencing that decision to go for the points there in stage 2?
Yeah, I felt like we had a good enough car to be able to get back up there. Just kind of struggle on the short run, but his 50th anniversary, Bass Pro Shop, True Timber, Black Rifle Coffee Camaro was really good. I mean, we won the first stage and then kind of got shuffled back on the restarts in the second stage, and decided to stay out, and ended up winning that second stage just once everything cycled through and we pitted after the stage. Those guys started up front and on the tires they took, and just struggle, but really proud of the effort by all the guys sticking behind us. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, but we got 2 playoff points, but felt like we were good enough to win.
You definitely had the car to win there. You were the fastest race car late in the race. So what do you talk about with Luke going forward? Was it worth it to get those playoff points?
I mean, I feel like we probably could be sitting in victory lane right now, but I guess we'll never know. So those 2 playoff points are pretty valuable. In the moment, I thought it was a good decision, and we decided to stay out, but we win as a team, lose as a team. Still really proud of everybody's efforts. Thank you, Johnny Morris, Rusty, Matt, and Evan, everybody who helps this program, Mike and Tough Co, Superior Essex, just everybody. Appreciate it. The motors were really good too at the engine shop, Hendrick Engine Shop. They did a great job, and man, I had a blast up there. Hopefully, you can do good tomorrow in the Cup car.
Strong effort for Noah Gragson and his 19, just coming up short.
And I'm going to remind everyone that every race there are 7 playoff points that are available. 1 for the first stage, 1 for the second stage, and 5 if you win the race. And so when Noah Gragson talks about, well, I got that 1 for winning the stage, he's actually giving up some if he thinks he has a car that could win the race, and 5 playoff points are sitting out there. But really, let's turn our attention back to Ty Gibbs and what a performance he's done.
Well, start with Noah Gragson. I just want to check this off. There's a lot of races I would have won on Monday, right? Like, it's really easy to look about what you should have done and could have done. It's just never that hard. This thing went green to the finish.
And you wouldn't expect that.
Yeah, I mean, he drove a great race. I believe Ty Gibbs, what makes his win more impressive for me is we have seen him win with the best car at a lot of different racetracks, speedways, road courses. Best cars win races. He won with not the best car today.
I think he had the
pit
4th or 5th place car.
Yeah, so great pit stops, great strategy.
Yes.
Because the 7 now, he was on the right strategy, and I still think he even had a better car. So it was kind of a full team 1 for the 54. I think that's what makes it better.
No doubt about that. And the last thing we're going to say about Noah Gragson, because it's a tough one, but yeah, when they decide to stay out, I said in my mind, there'll be a caution. They'll get a break, and they're fast enough. If they get that caution, it's Katie bar the door. I can't believe it just didn't happen. So it's a tough pill to swallow. They did get the 2 points, though, so they don't walk away with nothing. But, yeah, Ty Gibbs was just fantastic. He drove a great race. His pit crew did a great job. They put him in position to take advantage of his situation. Young man's got a lot of talent. There he is with his 5th win.
Track position is like a winning hand at the poker table, Rick.
Yes.
Don't give it up.
Just
sit there and wait. The chips will come to you, and it's you can get a little greedy, try to get all the points. Sometimes, you know, the stages can be an advantage or a distraction at times. You got to kind of sometimes stay focused on the end.
We have an opportunity to hear from a lot of drivers. Let's hear from 5th place finisher Austin Hill. He's with Kim.
And Austin Hill comes home with a top 5 finish. So not only do you continue the top 10 streak, but come home in the 5th position. You and Andy Street seem to be on a roll. What do you attribute that to?
I just think we believe in each other. You know, we didn't qualify very well, but we thought we had a pretty good car, and Andy did a great job calling the shots all day. You know, we came down pit road right before the end of stage 2 and got us some track position. It seemed like track position was big today, so I didn't do a great job on my part. We lost some track position in stage 2, and I wanted to be tightened up, and the next thing you know, we last stage, the last 2 runs, just was way too tight. So I got to do a better job of knowing what I need in these cars, and I think if we do that, we can win races. So for it to be a top 5, it's a little frustrating day for us just because I struggled giving the right feedback, and I need to be better. So these guys deserve better. So can't thank everybody enough with United Rentals. Glad I could get this paint scheme a top 5. Wish it was a win, but keep digging hard, keep knocking out these top 5s and top 10s, and the wins will start coming.
Double duty this weekend. You make your Cup Series debut tomorrow. What are you looking forward to?
Just learning. I just want to make all 200 laps. That's the biggest thing. And so I'm going to hydrate up. It was a hot one today, so hydrate up and be ready for 75 more laps than what we had today, tomorrow, and just learn each and every lap and try to bring it home in one piece.
Austin Hill will be one to watch tomorrow in the Cup Series as he makes his debut.
Brennan Jones had a very fast race car all day, running the top 5 throughout the day. You finished 4th. What more do you need to maybe contend with those top 3?
Yeah, man, gosh, we came here last year wanting a little bit more turn versus the 16 car. Came here today and didn't quite know how we stacked up. Thought we were pretty fast after practice, but didn't get a ton of laps, and so I don't think we truly saw where the balance went. We just built tight all day long, and I think probably the 54 just setup-wise was maybe the loosest of all 3 of our cars this weekend. So somewhere to work towards maybe in the future here a little bit, just trying to get closer to that looser side of things. But all in all, I think that's a good day to come home top 5 here with kind of the stuff that we were fighting in the race. And got an off weekend. We'll kind of sit on a top 5 here. It's a good momentum builder, and try to take it to Watkins Glen there and have a good run.
I know this was a really strong racetrack for you. You had a ton of confidence coming in here. Does it feel like this is one that just sort of gets away a little bit when you run this close to the front but just couldn't quite find it when how good you run here?
Yeah, I think so. I think it adds just a little bit more frustration overall. You know, you wanted to come here, had the mindset to win the race, definitely made moves to win the race. We had some really good restarts there to try to get track position and stuff, and I think Jeff did everything he could up on top of the box to try to get as many spots as we could and try to free the car up as best as he can. But I think we were just kind of out of knobs to turn at the end there. So yeah, it hurts a little bit knowing that, you know, we come here with the mindset to win, but I think top 5 is still good considering everything that's happened these past couple weeks to us.
Slightly frustrating top 5 for Brendan Jones.
Yeah, and Brad, I mean, top 5 finishes for both Austin Hill and Brandon Jones today.
Both of these teams did a great job. They didn't have cars that I thought were going to win the race, but they stayed in that top 5, top 8 all day long, and when they got behind, they made enough of a right decision to get themselves back in shouting distance. So a great day for both of those cars finishing in the top 5. Good, solid finishes.
Strong performances out of both Brandon Jones and Austin Hill. Once again, Ty Gibbs, his 5th win already of 2022.
Five wins on the season for Ty Gibbs. He is the winningest driver in the Xfinity Series so far this year, and he extends his points lead